It all started with a routine shoot near the Blue Hole in Belize. The research team used an underwater drone to observe shark behavior on the seafloor. The device slowly descended along the limestone walls, transmitting a clear image back to the ship. But at a depth of just over 300 feet, the signal suddenly jerked, the image flickered, and then disappeared. When the drone was pulled out, it became clear this wasn't a malfunction. There was a distinct bite mark on the body, a concave dent with clearly defined tooth notches. According to preliminary estimates, the bite radius exceeded 2 feet, which is larger than that of most known shark species. The discovery specialists accompanying the expedition decided not to continue filming in this area. This was a rare case where the team abandoned a dive not because of technical issues, but due to an unknown threat. The incident sparked heated discussions in scientific circles, since the bite was far too massive for any familiar marine predators. No one knew for sure who could have been behind the attack, but one thing was clear. The filming had uncovered something that had long been hidden beneath the water's surface. And this was only the beginning of the strange coincidences that soon followed. Camera versus predator. Underwater drones are more than just cameras at depth. They are built to withstand pressures that crush steel pipes and are equipped with sensors, stabilization systems, and thick protective shells. In the case of the attack in Belize, an industrial drone worth about $200,000 was used. Its body was designed to withstand impacts, but what the sea predator left behind defied explanation. A deep dent with 2 parallel rows of tooth marks was left on the protective lens cover. This indicated that the bite was not a glancing one, but deliberate, with a firm grip. The drone was in a stable position. It wasn't making any sudden movements or noises that could have provoked aggression. This makes the attack even stranger. The predator approached on its own, aimed at the lens, and struck. Such behavior is extremely rare. More often, sharks attack while moving or by mistake. However, in this case, according to biologists, it was an attempt to test the object's durability. In other words, the animal might have perceived the drone as a potential threat or competitor. But what species of shark is capable of such a bite? The answer turned out to be less obvious than the researchers had hoped, a bite radius that doesn't fit scientific expectations. When the team began analyzing the bite mark, the data didn't match any of the forms registered in the database. Ordinary great white sharks, even the largest ones, rarely leave a bite radius of more than 18 inches. The mark on the drone was almost 26. This means either an extremely rare individual of a known species or something more frightening. On board, they conducted a comparative analysis with records of other bites on underwater equipment. Some matches were found, but in all of them, the radius was smaller and the jaw shape was different. The scientists considered the possibility that the teeth could have deformed the metal, increasing the apparent width. But even after making adjustments, the data still exceeded the usual values. Some members of the expedition recalled instances when they had found damaged underwater buoys with similar dents, but at the time, these incidents were not given much importance. Now everything made sense. There is something capable of damaging expensive equipment with a single bite. The question became even more pressing. If the bite is so powerful and the predator itself so bold, why have we never encountered it face to face? And could it be that some simply never lived to tell the tale? Who could have done this? Identifying the species of the predator is no easy task. Great white sharks were the first on the list, but even their largest specimens would hardly have left such a powerful mark. Next, the giant mako shark was considered. It is aggressive, fast, and truly has powerful jaws. But experts noted that the mako's teeth are more curved and the mark on the hull doesn't match. A tiger shark, perhaps. It's a possibility, but its biting technique is completely different. It chews rather than biting sharply. The only candidate that matched in terms of strength, depth of habitat, and attack style was the 6-gill shark. It lives at great depths, is rarely caught on camera, and can reach lengths of over 15 feet. Its jaws are wide with massive teeth, and its attack is almost silent. The only problem is that such sharks are rarely seen in the areas where the filming took place. This left scientists puzzled. Either it was an exceptional case, or the creature is moving into an area where it had not been recorded before. Or, even more worryingly, it is an entirely different species, not yet classified. But what happened to the people afterward is even more interesting. Why did they refuse? The decision to stop the dive was made the next day. Officially, it was for technical reasons. But all the participants knew it wasn't about the equipment. Right after the incident, the drone started malfunctioning. It kept losing signal, began moving in jerks, and would periodically shut down. When it was brought up and examined, it turned out that malfunctions were found both in the navigation system and in the power supply. It's possible that the bite caused microscopic cracks or damaged internal modules. However, what was even more alarming was that at the moment of the attack, there wasn't a single large shadow near the drone, as if the creature had approached from below or from a blind side, avoiding the camera's view. The experienced team found this extremely suspicious. Some members of the group reported hearing strange fluctuations in their headphones, like short pulses. The ship's captain consulted with the technician and operators and decided risking the crew was out of the question. Under such conditions, another dive could be dangerous. The refusal was made official, and the area was marked as temporarily closed for research. But the real reason remained behind the scenes, and only the members of the expedition knew about it. While everyone else was speculating about what was going on, problems began to arise with other equipment as well. The secrets of the Discovery drones. The drones used by the Discovery team are nothing like ordinary cameras with motors. These are complex, multi-layered devices designed specifically for deep-sea research. They are equipped with several modules at once: high-definition cameras, echolocation sensors, thermometers, hydrophones, gyroscopes, and even infrared spotlights. These drones dive to depths of over 1,000 feet, where the pressure is comparable to the weight of a concrete slab and the temperature drops to nearly zero. Communication with them is maintained via reinforced cables or a satellite antenna if a surface relay is used. The hull protection system is designed to withstand direct impacts, which is precisely why the bite recorded in Belize caused such a stir. It penetrated the outer protection and damaged the internal stabilizers. Moreover, the drone recorded strange activity even before the attack: sudden spikes in water temperature and unstable signals at low frequencies. These signals did not match any known source. A comparison with previous recordings showed that similar noises had already been detected in other locations, but always right before the equipment shut down. At that time, no one yet understood how all of this was connected, until information surfaced about disappearances that people don't usually talk about openly. As it turned out, the archives of Discovery and partner research groups did indeed contain records of underwater cameras vanishing without a trace. During one of the expeditions off the coast of Namibia, a drone descended to a depth of over 900 feet and, after 15 minutes, stopped responding. When they tried to pull it up, the cable was found to be cleanly cut, as if by a knife. The cut surface showed flattened fibers, typical of mechanical pressure, but not of being torn by a current. Similar incidents occurred near Fiji and in the Caribbean Sea. In total, at least 9 episodes were recorded in which the devices disappeared without explanation. In most cases, there were brief interruptions in signal transmission and bursts of electromagnetic noise beforehand. Engineers considered these to be random malfunctions, but biologists began to look for patterns. They noticed that all the disappearances occurred at depths between 700 and 1,000 feet, in a zone where visibility is practically zero and direct observation is almost impossible. This raised the question: is it possible that something inhabits these zones, something that avoids direct contact but reacts to foreign technology? It hasn't been proven, but the number of coincidences is growing, especially in one location that even experienced teams are reluctant to return to. Filming in the Blue Hole. The Blue Hole off the coast of Belize is one of the ocean's most mysterious places. This giant vertical tunnel descends more than 1,000 feet and is surrounded by a dense wall of limestone. There is little light here, almost no oxygen, and conditions are created in which life is impossible. At least that's what was believed until recently. During the 2019 expedition, a team of researchers descended to the bottom using a deep-sea submersible. At first, everything was going according to plan, but closer to the lower boundary, the sensors detected a thermal outline, a sign of movement. In this zone, water movement is almost non-existent, so any motion is an event. Later, during a repeated attempt to send a drone down there, the signal was lost. The device was brought up with damage: a deep scratch on the side and a strange layer of slime on the camera. Analysis showed that the slime contained proteins that did not match any known marine species. The team was unable to provide a clear explanation for what had happened. After that, the site was temporarily removed from the routes, and the report was partially classified. The amount of unidentified material turned out to be too large to dismiss as a coincidence. But a few months later, something far more alarming happened. When Iron Benz, a fishing vessel off the coast of Brazil, hauled up a metallic object in its net, encrusted with seaweed and covered in corrosion. It turned out to be one of the drones that had gone missing a year earlier. It was badly damaged. The front part was crumpled and one side of the hull was bent inward. On the metal plates were jagged marks resembling teeth, but much larger than those of any known shark species. Experts conducted a spectral analysis and determined that the metal had been deformed under pressure exceeding 3,000 pounds per square inch. Even the largest ocean predators like great white sharks or orcas are incapable of such force. However, the most astonishing thing is the depth at which, according to the logs, the drone lost contact: over 1,000 feet, far beyond the usual habitat of most large predators. And again, just like in Belize, there is no video recording of the actual strike. Everything happened in an instant. One theory suggests that the creature uses a pinpoint attack, avoiding being caught on camera. Or perhaps it isn't detected at all due to a specific reflection spectrum. In that case, we have even less chance of discovering the truth. But it was the sound that provided the key to further investigation. The silent depths. For several years, researchers have been recording short sound pulses at depths of over 800 feet. They would appear suddenly, last less than 2 seconds, and were accompanied by the loss of signal from drones or their malfunction. These sounds did not match any known species, not mammals, not fish, nor any underwater equipment. After the incident in Belize, scientists began comparing audio files from different locations. They discovered pulses similar in frequency and spectrum. They were recorded in the area of the Mariana Trench at depths off southern Australia and in the northern part of the Atlantic. All cases had one more thing in common. Each recording was accompanied by mechanical interference with the equipment. This led acousticians to the idea. Perhaps these signals serve as a form of echolocation or navigation. But then, who is producing them? No known marine creature uses this type of sound. Some institute employees admitted that discussing such anomalies is discouraged. Data gets lost, files become corrupted. And although there is no direct evidence, the feeling that something is hiding beneath the threshold of human attention is growing stronger. But it is precisely these voids and silences that push people toward new hypotheses and conjectures. When science encounters facts it cannot yet explain, alternative theories always emerge. Some of them are logical, while others are openly controversial. In the case of the anomalous bites and the disappearance of drones, hypotheses began to emerge, discussed both in the corridors of scientific institutes and on popular forums. The most sensational is the theory of a megalodon that has survived to the present day. This ancient predator disappeared more than 3 million years ago, and official science considers it extinct. But supporters of the hypothesis argue if vast areas of the ocean remain unexplored, the existence of relict species cannot be completely ruled out. Nevertheless, it should be emphasized, none of the evidence found, neither the bite, nor the sound, nor the traces, confirms the existence of the megalodon. This version falls into the category of conspiracy theories, and serious scientists treat it with caution. A more plausible version is the existence of a little-studied species of large shark or invertebrate, possibly a squid, living at extreme depths. Such creatures could have adapted to conditions where technology operates at its limits. But if they exist, why do they avoid cameras and attack drones? There are no answers, but the doubts are only growing. The voice of science. Despite all the hypotheses, the scientific community tries to stick to strictly verified data. Biologists and engineers working with underwater technology have already gathered enough material to form a preliminary picture. Yes, there have been recorded strikes, damage, disappearances of equipment, as well as acoustic impulses of unknown origin. But all these phenomena can still be explained, even if not with absolute precision. As for the bites, most specialists tend to believe that the marks were left by known but rare species of deep-sea sharks. For example, the six-gill shark, which can reach 15 feet in length and has powerful jaws. Such specimens are rarely caught on camera and live at depths where few people conduct research. Electromagnetic malfunctions and strange sounds may be caused by underwater seismic activity or the interaction of cold and warm water masses. Engineers also emphasize that drones are not protected from all forms of mechanical impact. Sometimes damage is the result of a combination of factors: pressure, time, and material fatigue. Therefore, despite the interest in anomalies, scientists are not quick to draw conclusions. In their world, everything must be confirmed by experiment. But even in this world, there are still things that do not yet fit into the framework. Was everything different? When the whole story is put together into a single chain, it becomes clear. This is not about a single incident, but a series of episodes repeating in different parts of the world. Damaged drones, strange sounds, equipment disappearing, unusual animal behavior, all of this creates the sense that something is happening in the depths of the ocean that we do not yet understand. Science tries to remain objective. But even scientists admit that there is too little data to draw definitive conclusions. And yet, the team that encountered the bite in Belize never returned to that area. Experienced specialists refused to continue filming despite the project's huge budget and pressure from the producers. They were not afraid. They concluded that something at that depth possessed strength, precision, and behavior that did not fit into familiar patterns. Could it be a new species? Or perhaps a known one, but underestimated? Or maybe it's not about biology at all, but about another factor that no one is talking about yet. But most importantly, we were reminded that the ocean remains the most unexplored space on the planet. And every time the equipment goes silent, sinks into the sand, or surfaces with dents, it's as if the ocean whispers to us, you still don't know what lives here. And maybe it's better that way.